And we are back with another episode of Our Path to Law podcast. In these next two episodes, we are going to get to speak with two attorneys from the Volunteer Lawyers Project. In this first episode, we are going to get to talk to Hollis DeAbreu-Davis. She is a supervising immigration attorney at VLP. Hollis graduated from Florida A&M College of Law with her degree in law and graduated from University at Buffalo with her degree in political science. Prior to joining VLP, Hollis practiced at a private practice focused on immigration defense in Western New York. And throughout her many years, she's been able to participate in a lot of different areas of law throughout Buffalo. We're going to get to talk to her today about all of that. So, Hollis, how are you doing today?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for having me here today.
We're excited to have you here. And I didn't really know about the collaboration with Say Buffalo and the Volunteer Lawyers Project. So can you talk to us a little bit more about it?
So the Volunteer Lawyers Project, we actually have a lot of different areas of law that we practice. I am supervising attorney in immigration. We also do housing, divorce, family. We're part of the Say Yes organization, and we always try to incorporate whatever aspect of law we're doing. So every single case that we take in, we also ask the client, do they have a child in the Buffalo schools? And so that we can reach out and see what services that we can provide for that also.
Okay. And what do you think the importance of this collaboration is for? Like, why is it so important, especially with our BPS kids?
Right. So I think it's important that the students, the children, see us and see that they can look like us. We have different careers and there's different opportunities that they have. I'm not from Buffalo. I grew up in New York City, but I did come here for undergrad, and I see the changes that are happening in Buffalo and has happened, and an exciting place to be, and there's so many opportunities for them. So I'm happy to speak on what my path is and what hopefully inspire someone to be a lawyer themselves.
I'm happy that you said that Buffalo is an exciting place to be, because you don't hear that often, and Buffalo is a great place to be. So I'm happy that you said that, especially being from Brooklyn. So I love that you said that. So currently in the position that you are in right now, talk to us about your day-to-day role, and also how did you get to this position?
Okay. So I graduated, I started law school, and I was one of those people that said, I want to do immigration law. It's not an area that is largely practiced. We're actually trying to seek out more immigration attorneys just because of the large need for services that is happening in our community. So I was born in Guyana, South America. I left when I was 4 years old.
Wow.
And I came here undocumented.
Wow.
So, yeah, I had to actually self-deport, meaning that I voluntarily left the United States back to Guyana so that we can get documentation to come back. So that was a personal story for me. So I always wanted to be the person that would have helped me when I was a little girl. Mm-hmm. So that, like when I went to law school, I said, I'm going to be an immigration attorney. Mm-hmm. I actually, by adult years, I was in Connecticut, and there's not a lot of opportunities in Connecticut for immigration. Yeah. So I came here one summer just to visit, and I saw a position open at a private immigration firm, and I said, that's the path. That's why I'm here. And from there, I moved on to a nonprofit organization, a Volunteer Lawyers Project, just because I have a heart for nonprofit work and helping those that don't have the ability to help themselves.
Wow. So would you say that your story drives your work?
My story, and I was a little bit afraid when I started immigration that it would impact me so much that I couldn't be the best lawyer that I can be for my clients. So it is a personal story for me. I have a lot of family that are still trying to come to the United States. It is very difficult. Wow. The immigration laws are very difficult, and it changes every single day. So it is personal, and I feel privileged to do the work that I do.
Wow, that's amazing. Honestly, that is amazing, and I'm happy that you're able to talk about it now, and and give us this story. that. You're a blessing to so many people, and you don't even know the impact that you have on people.
Thank you.
That's amazing, because I have friends that have
Right.
dealt with these things, and families that I know, because obviously I work with SAS Buffalo,
Right.
so knowing the things that they face, and having advocates like yourself is important, and also that representation, like people of color, is important as well. So just while we're gonna not even take a step back, but while you were in school, talk about some of the barriers and the obstacles that you went through, especially just being in, like, law by itself is a whole different ballgame that I don't even understand.
Law school is very challenging. But I went to an HBCU, and I feel like I connected better. I feel like I passed the bar the first time because I went to an HBCU.
Wow, the first time?
I had professors telling me, you cannot go back home without a degree. So it was a personal motivation for them to see us graduate. I had a property professor, Professor Rees, and I remember I got a B on the midterm, and B, I was like, okay, it's fine, I got a B. And she sat down with me and she said, why'd you get a B? And I was like, oh, this is, I didn't understand this part of it. And she said to me, you must understand this. She said, you're going to go back and you're going to take the bar in Connecticut with people from Yale, people from Quinnipiac, and they're going to know it. So you have to know it. So it's that personal attention that I got at the HBCU that personally motivated me to be better. That just a light bulb went out for me that day.
Wow. Like, your story is just so personal, I promise. I'm just like, oh my goodness. So while you were talking, I was just wondering, talk about the pressure and the stress, like, that you had to undergo, because essentially it's like, were you the first person in your family?
First person in my family to go to college, and I didn't have a blueprint. I didn't know how to apply for even colleges, even financial aid. It was basically my high school. I went to Boys and Girls High School. Our principal was really motivating. Everyone was pushed to go to college, and I think that's what we need to start doing for our young students now. It has to be more than just graduate. It has to be graduate, go to college, experience undergrad, choose a path. So it was really motivating. My principal was really motivating to say, you're going to graduate, you're going to go to college, you're going to go away to college, you're going to experience. So law school was particularly challenging because there's a part to law, like, what you don't know and what you know, but then there's a part you don't know what you don't know. And it's the parts that you don't know that's hard in law school. But you really have to keep motivating yourself to say, this is why I have to graduate. I have to pass the bar. This is what I want to do.
For sure. Have you, well, you sound very passionate. Well, not even sound, you are very passionate about the work that you do. What is one of your most favorite moments throughout your career?
Obviously I have cases. So before I actually transferred from our Batavia office works exclusively with detained clients. So a large part of my path at BLP was working with detained clients. So they are here, they have, their green card, and they committed an offense that caused them to be put in deportation or removal proceedings. So I don't want to get into details of the cases, but it was a lot of times, people like me, they were here for their whole lives, and they didn't, now they're faced with going back to a country that they don't know. So it's difficult, those cases, but when you are successful, it feels really good to take that person out of their detention and put them back into their home, and they may have just had one little mistake that made them deportable. Those are the things that are just unfair. And I have clients that didn't even know that they were not citizens.
Wow.
They grew up here their whole lives, and now they're facing being sent back to a country they don't know. So again, those things are the difficult cases, but when you are successful, it feels really good.
And I think it's different, like, when you hear about stories, but when you actually are, like, firsthand working with this and then also have a firsthand experience. It's like that personal connection that you have. I think with me, like I'm also a mentor, and when I see little girls that look like me, little girls that I work with, like when they say with work it's just business, you got to get your feelings out of your work, but how do you do that? And you have this personal connection. It's like you're seeing yourself in these young people and you just want to help them. But how do you separate that with, like, you still have to do your work. You can't cross boundaries either, because I'm sure if you could just get everybody out of that circumstance, you would do it in a heartbeat, but you can't. So it's like, how do you not draw the line? And especially being an attorney, how do you not cross it?
And I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to do that in the beginning, but the immigration laws are just so specific and they're really harsh. But those are the conversations that I have to have. I really try to give my clients a realistic expectation of what is going to happen and what is not going to happen. I'm not a magician. I've said that many times. This is what you're going to expect. So preparing someone regarding what the next step is so that they're not blindsided, I think it reassures them. Yeah. And then 2, I just always promise that I'm going to fight for you really hard. There's not going to be an argument that I'm not going to make. I may not be a successful argument, but I'm going to make that argument for you in this case. So it's difficult, but I'm really honest with my clients, and I have real conversations with them. And when they're telling me things that I know are not true, I tell them, like, that's not what happened. You need to tell me what happened because I need to know. So when I go into court, I know what to say.
And that's important. So definitely have an advocate that keeps it honest with you, that keeps it real, and that's going to tell you what it is. Right. No, no hiccups, no lies, like, especially in situations such as like the ones that you obviously are overseeing, it's important. Right. And to be an advocate is also important. And it's like, you've been there, you understand, but also letting them know that, like, making a promise, because sometimes a promise is a lot. Right. But the fact that you promise that you're going to do everything that you can, even if it doesn't work out, you know that you still did everything that you can. That's important. And we really try to we gauge our successes differently. So of course a win in immigration the statistics are low. Yeah. So our wins are different. If I can get a client out of detention and they're able to pursue their case on the outside, that's a win. If I can get a case reopened from a client that did not appear in court, that's a win. So we really have to judge our wins differently and think of the long-term game in immigration. Okay. And now you said that you were the first person to go to college in your family, and also, so obviously you're the first person to even pursue law in your family. Yes. So how important is it to have mentors? I know you mentioned your teacher. You said Miss Reeves, Mr. Reeves? Miss Reeves. Miss Reeves. You mentioned one of your teachers. How important is it to have not only a mentor, but especially like in the legal profession realm? Like, who inspired you? So many people inspired me. All my teachers in high school actually inspired me because they really just gave me a motivation and say, like, you can do whatever you want to do. You just have to have your mind set to it. My law school professors, they were just so instrumental in just pursuing it. I have a con law professor, Professor Broussard. She was just amazing, but she really instilled in us that you have to do this. Like, this is what you are meant to do, and you have to do it. So, they're saying, like, you have to want something as badly as you want to breathe. And I feel like I am blessed to have that, to know what I want to do. A lot of people don't know what they want to do. So I would stress that they, if you want to pursue, my daughter, she's 12, she loves acting. She's great at it. I try to get her into everything that is acting related. She did the UGMA summer program last year. And you just have to get your kids open to doing things and getting out in the community. And there's so many opportunities to do that here. Yeah, it's so funny that you said that most of your high school teachers, all your high school teachers were like, inspirational to you, because, a lot of kids today, they do not really care for their high school
Right.
teachers, or and especially even as a high school student, you don't realize how much of an impact your
Right.
teachers make on you until you get into your adult years, and it's like, oh, this is what they were trying to teach me
Right.
all along. Like, I still have a connection with my 3rd and 4th grade teacher,
Right.
but I didn't realize how important it was when at those times I was pushing them away. So it's funny that you said that, because high school teachers, because they're with you for 4 years, but then you have your elementary school teachers who are with you for a little bit longer, if
Right.
essentially you're not going throughout different schools. But teachers definitely make a big mark on you.
They do. And like I said, I have a 13-year-old daughter. Her homeroom teacher texts me when she misses things. So like, that's that extra step that, of course, she doesn't like that, but that's that extra step. This person is looking out for you. This person is trying to keep you on track. So things that, the students may think that this is overbearing. At the end of the day, they don't have to do these extra things. They don't. They can come and finish their work and go home and not think about you. So the fact that someone is thinking about you after hours, it really should affect how you treat
them.
Right.
For sure. While we're still on the topic of schools, what advice would you give to someone who is currently enrolled in law school or who is seeking to enroll into law school?
I would give the same advice that I give new attorneys. Everyone thinks that, like, I have it all figured out. I don't have it all figured out. I'm winging it half of the time. But you really do have to keep motivating yourself to say, I'm going to figure it out. Law school is very difficult. You really have to focus on your studies. There is no outside work. There is no outside play. When you are taking the bar, there is no outside. You really have to dedicate yourself to what you're doing. So my advice would be, one, everyone is winging it. You just have to figure it out. And that's the best advice that I can give. That I might give my kids. You have to figure it out, though. And you have to have that internal motivation and faith, because that internal motivation is the only thing that's going to drive you.
Definitely. I think that's something across all boards, is you're always going to be winging it. Right. You are always going to be winging it. I think that when you climb that ladder of success, it's like you just don't know what is going to come. Right. You don't know what's next. You don't know if something from the past is even going to come back up. But you just always have to wing it. So I think that's great advice for anybody in school. Right. And just growing and learning. And I'm 25, so adulting. I think I'm just winging it right now, actually. So just trying to figure things out and make it through. Right. Honestly. But thank you for that. So I don't have any more questions, but is there anything else that you would like to tell me that I didn't ask you about?
I don't. Again, thank you for having me here. We're really trying to motivate individuals, attorneys, to follow the path of immigration law. There is a real need for immigration attorneys. If you are thinking about going to law school, if you're thinking about, or you're in law school, immigration is a really important area right now. There's also an aspect of immigration called crimmigration, where it's the merger of criminal and immigration law, which is also very exciting. So my push would be for more immigration attorneys.
Okay, and for students who are looking for internship opportunities or jobs fresh out of, college and looking to obviously pursue their law career more, where can they find more information about the Volunteer Lawyers Project, or just about yourself? Do you have any emails to plug or anything of that nature?
You can go on the Volunteer Lawyers website. We'll draw a blank at it's the ECBAVLP website, and we do have internship opportunities. You want to go to court, there's opportunities to go to court. If you want to contact me, my email address is hdeabreu@ecbavlp.com. And I encourage people just to contact me. At UB doing tabling, I'll talk to anyone that wants to talk. If anyone wants to email me. If you don't even want to do immigration, you just want an internship, I will help you do that. whatever you need, I will help. As long as that person is motivated and reaching out, I'm there.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was great. Make sure if you want to watch any of the episodes and stay tuned for the next one, please follow us at Say Yes Buffalo on all of our social medias or sayesbuffalo.org and on all streaming platforms. Look out for our Path to Law podcast. Until next time.